Alright, so now it's time to draw in the teeth. I find that the teeth is actually the easiest part of this drawing to do, but it does the most to really bring your picture together and make it look professional. When you draw yours, you'll find that when you put in the teeth, that's when your picture really comes together. So the first thing I like to do is to shade in the gum and all the dark cracks that is between the teeth. So in the reference photo, the gums are right here, and these dark cracks right between the teeth are sporadic throughout, and they're going to be our cast shadow. So we'll shade them as close to black as we can. Let's start with that, okay? I'll start over here. And this is just basic shading, nothing fancy. We'll just make them dark. And we're going to use this the darkness of these areas to define the shape of the teeth more. So once you fill in these dark area, the teeth will become more defined. Okay, so now that we got the cracks filled in, let's work on shading in the gum. The gum is more or less even tone because it's very smooth, but there is some variation in darkness. So there are some area that is darker than others. We'll try to capture that in our shading. And also you'll notice that as the gum is moving to the side of the mouth, it gradually gets darker because the front of the mouth is where the light is hitting it. So we'll try to capture that in our shading as well, but for the most part, shading the gum is easy. We'll try to make the tone a little bit lighter than that of the lip. Let's start with the one in the middle. So we'll try to make it a little bit uneven by making some part darker than others. That will usually just happen naturally as you're shading it, so you don't have to worry too much about it. Then once we blend it in, it'll look really great. Alright. Okay. Again, we're using the shading from the gum to try to define the edge of the teeth. So once you put in the gum, the teeth will look a lot more defined. One second. Alright, now let's get our Tortolon and start blending it. Okay, so now it's time to start shading the teeth. Again, when you look at your reference photo, you'll notice that the light is hitting the front teeth full on, so those spots will be the brightest. And as it moves outward towards the side of the mouth, it'll get darker, and there'll be a shadow, a darker shadow on this side of the teeth over here, and then on the other side, on this other side of the mouth. You'll notice that shading the teeth is very similar to shading the sphere. So if you've been practicing how to shade the sphere, you're going to find this part very easy. And most of the teeth will be shaded in. The only area that will leave white are these small bright spots right there. Okay. So we're going to do the majority of the shading of the teeth with the Tortolon. Alright, so let's start from this side. This little white spot over here, we'll just fill in. Most of the teeth on this side of the mouth will be shaded in. This one is pretty dark. We're still going to create that dark shadow on the side of the teeth. Let me zoom in so you can see. Okay. So it's okay if we make these darker. And then lighten your touch when you get to the other side of the teeth. And this one here is when we start to need to lighten our touch and add in the catch light. So I'll start by adding the shadow on the side, and then slowly lighten our touch, create that gradual blend. Then go ahead and fill it in, and then we'll lift the highlights using the kneadable eraser. Okay. And then take your kneadable eraser and mold it into a very fine point. Get a clean point, so that I can pick up more graphite more easily. And then find that catch light. So we're going to get this one right here. It's going to be tough to get that exact shape right away, so we're going to take off a larger area and then use the Tortolon and shape that catch light. You can even make it a little bit bigger than is shown in the reference photo, so that we can see it more easily, because it is difficult to make it show up. because it's so small. If you had an electric eraser that can allow you to erase very small area very easily, then it would make this job a lot easier. But for now, we'll just make do with our kneadable eraser. Alright. Now on to the next teeth. You can sort of borrow some of the dark graphite from the dark area and use it to shade the teeth. Just be careful. On these front teeth, there's the shadow sort of follow this pattern here, and then this area is a lot lighter, almost white. So we'll follow that pattern, shade it in here. And then take your eraser. And then we'll just repeat the same pattern for all the rest of the teeth. On this one, there's sort of a really dark area right here, I guess because it's being hidden by this other teeth. So we'll add that in there. Not every teeth is going to be uniform, so there's going to be little variations here and there, and you need to pay attention to that so you can add that extra detail to your drawing. Some teeth will be tucked behind others, and some will be protruding out more, and you can really show that in your shading. Okay, so now we're at this point, we are more or less done. Now it's just a matter of going back and touching up any areas that you think need a little extra work. So I would go back and try to make the catch light more visible in certain areas. And you can also take your lead pencil and make the edge of the teeth a little bit more defined. Now you have to be careful here because you don't want to press down too hard because that's gonna make it look very unrealistic. But if you look at the reference photo, there is a tiny shadow against the edge of each of the teeth. So you can put that in there. The distinction here, I guess, is that you're using shadows to create a line rather than drawing a hard line itself. Okay, so and also in the front teeth, make the line, make your shadow lighter because that's where the light is hitting it. So. And you'll see more, you'll see the shadow darker sort of between the gum and the crack, not so much in between the teeth. It's a very subtle detail. You can actually leave this part alone if you want to, but depending on how detailed you want to be, it can make your picture look a little bit better. And then you can add a little extra shading to some parts that you feel like needs to be darker. Just be very, very careful with this because you don't want to make your teeth too dark. You definitely want to keep it lighter than all the other tones on the picture. Alright, that's enough. And then blend that in. By adding a little bit more contrast, you give your teeth more dimension. It looks more 3D. I'm just gonna add a thin line or a little bit of shading on the edge of the gum and the teeth to separate them a little bit. Not too dark. And also maybe a little bit of tone between the teeth and the lip. Okay, and that's pretty much it. That's the whole process of drawing the teeth. So go ahead and do the same for your drawing, and then I'll see you here in the next video. If you like this video, please do me a huge favor and give it a thumbs up, and also make sure to subscribe to this channel to get access to even more cool lessons. And lastly, if you want to get more free step-by-step tutorials, go to mydrawingtutorials.com/bonus and sign up for my free newsletter. Or you can simply click the link below and just enter your email on the new page that pops up. So once again, just click the link below, enter your email, and get access to all my free lessons.